Indian fever is catching fire with everyone. Indian fever, you can be part of the fun. You're the winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever, be a believer with the Cleveland Indians. Indian fever, it starts from the very first game. Indian fever, each game is a brand new beginning.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the December 4th, 2018 Lake County Sentinel Podcast. I'm your host, publisher, and sports editor of the Lake County Sentinel, Tim Shirer. I hope everyone's having a nice night. We got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight for the next 29 minutes. In sports, we're going to talk about the resignation or retirement today of Urban Meyer as the head football coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. I don't think this was a surprise that Meyer retired today. I don't think there was really anybody that was really taken by surprise about this. There were many rumors and issues throughout this season that made people, think that this was possible, that this could happen, that Meyer could leave. Personally, I was surprised in August that he survived then. I think that if this was any other program in America, and if it was a lesser known coach, I think Urban Meyer would have been fired in August after lying at Media Day. I mean, let's not mince words. He lied at Big Ten Media Day about the situation of his coach abusing his wife. I mean, we know now that he lied. Of course, Urban Meyer, being who he is and his beliefs, he pretty much blamed everyone else at that time, taking very little responsibility for his actions and pretty much blaming other people. So I think that I was surprised that he survived that incident. And let's be honest today, I don't think the powers who are in charge at Ohio State are devastated that Urban Meyer is gone. Ryan Day stepped in very well early in the season when Urban Meyer was suspended. Okay, you're going to say, yeah, he, they didn't exactly play powerhouse teams in those 3 weeks where Urban Meyer was gone, but also, he did a good job, Ryan Day. If he didn't do a good job, he wouldn't have got the job today. And he got the job because he played, or the team played well under him, and they were successful under him. And I don't think that you can deny that Ryan Day did a nice job in the three game stint. the offense was dynamic. It didn't seem like the offense couldn't run as well because Ryan Day was running the team. No, it seemed like he did a good job of doing both. I'm not an Ohio State insider by any stretch, but they they won 77-31, 52-3, and 40-28. And the last game, 40-28, was against a ranked opponent. Okay. So I think, they were pretty good with Ryan Day in those 3 games. Rutgers, yeah, they're terrible. Oregon State. TCU is pretty good, and they won that game 40-28, and they won that game. It wasn't like they, were going to lose it. So, there were close games with Urban Meyer, and we know about the debacle at Purdue. So, am I surprised about this? Absolutely not. Am personally myself, am I glad Urban Meyer is no longer the coach at Ohio State? Yeah, I am. I have never been an Urban Meyer fan. I haven't. I have not been a fan of Urban Meyer. I don't remember much about him when he was at Bowling Green. Of course, they're not on TV much, but I wasn't a fan of him at Utah. I definitely wasn't a fan of him at Florida, and a lot of it of that had to do with they played Ohio State in the national championship, and beat them. That that a little to do with it, but also I'm not a big fan of this guy. I feel like this guy is. I guess I just have to say what I think is. I feel like he's a little bit of a fake. Okay. And how do I describe that? I guess I think he says he's a real good salesman, and he's going to sell you that he's a good guy and that he cares about your kid. And I know players that have played for him, they stand by him, but I'm not a guy that feels like you do whatever it takes to win. You got to win. There's no doubt about it. But you don't sell your soul to win. And okay, I guess that's what I'm saying here. I feel like Urban Meyer would sell his soul to win. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion from hearing him talk through the years and seeing his actions and seeing him, lie this August like he did. He got caught. So that's my opinion about it. And if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to agree with me on this. A lot of people won't. But I'm not one who just this year didn't like Urban Meyer. I haven't liked him for a long time. And I've said this. I haven't liked him for a long time. When they hired him as coach, I wasn't real happy about it because I didn't want to have to root for this guy. It kind of reminds me of when, everybody knows that I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I was not very happy with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 1992 when they hired Sam White to be their head coach because I was going to have to root for a guy I really didn't like. And that's how I feel. I don't like rooting for a coach that I can't back up, that I really don't like. And Urban Meyer, he's that guy for me. I like Ryan Day so far. Everything I've seen about him and out of him, he seems like a good guy. I could be wrong. He might not be a good guy. He might be a complete jerk. I don't know. But what I've seen so far, I like. And, hopefully have a nice long run at Ohio State. Let's hope. But, only time will tell. And, we're going to see. And I don't know. I just have to say that I'm glad that Urban Meyer is no longer the coach at Ohio State. And I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think I'm alone in that. I feel like there's a lot of people down in Columbus that feel the same way. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of people saying Urban Meyer got a raw deal, like a lot of people said about Jim Tressel when he resigned and left Ohio State. There's a lot of people that still feel like Jim Tressel got a raw deal when he left Ohio State. So it is what it is today. Urban Meyer's no longer the coach at Ohio State after the bowl game. Ryan Day will take over on January 2nd. He's already recruiting, and we'll see. We'll see. He knows that you have to win. He knows it. He understands that you have to be Michigan, and you have to win all the other games too. There's no room for losing at Ohio State, and Ryan Day knows that, and let's hope that he can live up to that, because that's what it is. If he can't live up to that, well, he'll be gone. Somebody else will come. But let's hope that he does this. I mean, he's the first coach hired since 1946 that doesn't have previous head coaching experience. So let's hope that, that doesn't matter, and let's hope that he does a good job at Ohio State. But you know what? We got to move on here. We don't have a lot more time in sports to talk, but I'll tell you what I want to talk about for a few minutes here. I want to talk about the Cavs' impressive win last night. Yeah, okay, they didn't beat a great team. So maybe, I know a lot of you don't want to use the word impressive, because in Cleveland, unless it's the Browns winning, it's never an impressive win. But I think yesterday's game, their win over the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn on the road, okay, was a nice win. A really nice win. They did a nice job. They 99-97, they hung on to win. It looked like they were going to blow it. It did. It looked like maybe they weren't going to be able to pull it out, but they did. They did, and they got key contributions once again from Tristan Thompson. He was on. He wasn't on the floor at the end, but that's okay. He wasn't on the floor at the end, and the reason he wasn't on the floor at the end is he's not a shooter, and they needed a shooter, and that's okay. He had a double-double last night. He was really good. He had 19 points, 14 rebounds. He was 8 for 11, from the field. I think that, Tristan Thompson is showing what he could have been, but didn't get a chance to be when LeBron James was here. It's 3 for 4 from the free throw line. So Tristan Thompson, I've always liked Tristan Thompson. I've always been a big fan of him, and I've not liked it when people have ripped him, because I think that he gives everything he's got out there. He's a hard worker. Yeah, he had a bad year last year. Geez, he was hurt. It's the first time in his career he was hurt. Prior to getting hurt, he had the longest streak in the NBA of games started or games played. My God, yeah, when you have an injury and you've never been hurt in your career, you might not be as good that year. It's possible. So I think people just were a little too hard on him last year. And I think he's showing those people this year that he is the leader of the team. There's no doubt that Tristan Thompson is the leader of this ball club. He had 19 points, I said, but he wasn't the leading scorer. Jordan Clarkson, once again, was the leading scorer. Clarkson had 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. And he was 1 for 1 from the free throw line. And he had another nice night. And, of course, Alex Burks, the newest Cavalier, one of the newer Cavaliers. He's not the newest anymore because he signed 2 guys yesterday, but he had 13 points, and he had the huge dunk at the end of the game that gave the Cavs the win. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 for 2 free throws, which is great. I'm looking at this free throw percentage by the team last night. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look, how about this? They attempted 20 free throws last night, and they made 19 of them. How about that? 19 of 20 from the free throw line. All right? 19 of 20. The only missed free throw was by Tristan Thompson. Okay? Burks, 2 for 2. George Hill, 2 for 2. All right? And then we got Hood, 5 for 5. Osmond, 4 for 4. Larry Nance Jr., 2 for 2. You make your free throws, you're going to win games. And they proved that last night. I think free throws are so underrated in today's game. High school, college, NBA, they're just not valued. And I think last night, those free throws won the Cavs a game. 19 for 20. Okay? They won by 2 points. You think about it. They shoot 70% last night. They lose. So that's excellent. That's excellent. It was a nice game by the Cavs last night. Nice win on the road. Now they come home tomorrow night and they play Golden State. And, of course, the jerks from Golden State are already talking. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Let them talk all they want. Big deal. So they'll come in here and they'll beat us. If that makes them feel really good, good. Let them. Those guys are jerks. They're jerks. And just who cares? Who cares about them? Who cares what they say? But that's all the time we have for sports tonight. We'll be back in 45 seconds, and we'll talk some politics. Right after this break, we'll be back with some political talk. See you on the other side.
Watch your favorite 24/7.
Well, we had an extra long break there. We had the full song tonight. And in case anyone wonders, I feel like just because politics is so many times like a soap opera, the introduction to the political portion of the show each night, that is part of the song from the 1980s nighttime soap opera Falcon Crest. It's one of the best TV theme songs, I feel, of all time. So that's why I use it at that portion of the show. And anyone who knows anything about sports knows that the excuse me, that the theme song we use at the beginning is the Indians theme song from the 1970s, Indian Fever. So let's get on with the show. Let's get on with the political talk. We've got about 10 minutes to go. And, we're going to talk about the stock market has dropped today. The stock market dropped 799 points today. And it's interesting, a lot of people are saying that the reason the stock market dropped is because the fears of a trade war. And every economist, I don't care what network it's been on, okay, every economist I have heard talk has said that no one wins a trade war. Even though, Donald Trump keeps trying to tell people that we're going to win a trade war. Every economist I talk to says nobody wins a trade war. Neither side wins in a trade war. And Donald Trump seems to think that the United States is going to win the trade war. Even if he makes these moves that hurt our economy, lose us jobs, raise prices, somehow he feels that like we're going to win. I don't know how that's a win, but we'll just have to see, because one thing we do know is if Donald Trump says it's a win, the people that support him will say it's a win. Even if it's hurting them, they will continue to say it's a win because they will never admit that their guy Don was wrong. Okay, so the Dow dropped 799 points today. This isn't good. It was down 818 at one point. Some tech stocks fell. Apple, Google, and Amazon, and Netflix each fell. Apple and Google lost more than 4%. Amazon and Netflix, they fell more than 5%. That's a big drop for those tech stocks. And I don't know how they're going to be affected by this tariff, but I guess it is going to affect them in some way. For that, there's a reason their stocks go down, and I'm sure it's not just they didn't just go down for the hell of it. Marketing strategist at TD Ameritrade, J.J. Kinahan, said that the tariff situation is still looming large over the market. And Donald Trump can deny this all he wants, but I don't think that, people are going to believe it. The market dropped quite a bit in the last, 24 hours, or when it opened this morning. I think usually with the Asian or European markets do not do well. The U.S. market does not do well either. So I think, the market went up a lot under Trump in the first year, but it hasn't done a lot this year. Okay. It has had several periods where it's dropped, and I guess they call it a correction. So, but I don't hear any of the Trump supporters raving about this when when they bragged about how much he did for the market, but they don't really say much about how bad it's doing now. It's pretty amazing. I think they're never going to admit it. They're never going to admit they made a mistake voting for him. But that's the way it is. And the funny thing is, it's not only the markets, but then we get this ridiculous. Oh my gosh! I see this today that Eric Trump, one of Donald Trump's sons, what has he truly accomplished on his own in life? Nothing. But he's lived off his dad, and his dad lived off his dad. So, but Eric Trump, who just because his dad is president, we should respect now. Yeah, sure. Comes out and says that, criticizes George Conway, who is the wife or the husband of Kellyanne Conway. one of, Donald Trump's advisors and his campaign manager. And, Kellyanne Conway, she is who she is. She makes stuff up all the time. She's very rarely truthful. I don't know. I don't know how you could say that you really should. What positive could you say about Kellyanne Conway? She's come up with one false thing after another since Donald Trump's been president. And Eric Trump says that George Conway has been terrible to her. She is a great person, and her husband's actions are horrible. Are they any more horrible than his dad's actions of grabbing women and sexually assaulting women, like his dad has been accused of many times? Is talking politics worse than that? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. The sad part is that Eric Trump said that it's utter disrespect. But I guess it wasn't utter disrespect when his father has abused people. When his father goes on Twitter and says to women over and over again, calls them names, calls a woman a dog, that's okay. It's all right. That's okay. When his father calls a woman a dog on Twitter, that's all right. Or when he calls a woman ugly on Twitter, that's okay. Does he not realize that's utter disrespect also? But I guess a Trump is allowed to do whatever they want. They're allowed to call people whatever kind of names they want. The Trumps are. They don't understand that when they call people names, that's disrespectful too. All right? When they call people names, they're being utterly disrespectful. So the fact that Eric Trump comes out and says that George Conway is being utterly, I had a 1,000-legger just crawled across the old keyboard. But that's a little shocking. But if Eric Trump calls someone disrespectful, it has no validity to it. No one respects him for calling somebody disrespectful, because that's what the Trumps are constantly. 365 days a year, the Trumps are disrespectful. I don't understand how these people can look at themselves in the mirror in the morning and not just be horrified at what they see. They are the biggest hypocrites that ever walked the face of the earth. I've said that many times, and I'll say that many more times. They are complete and total hypocrites. The next time you call somebody a hypocrite, or I say that somebody's utterly disrespectful, Eric Trump, look at yourself in the mirror and you will understand what utter disrespect is, because that's you. You do it every day. Your father does it every day. Your brother does it every day. Okay? So don't ever say that somebody else is utterly disrespectful, or somebody else treated somebody horribly. The only thing I say about that is you guys know that very well, because you do it all the time. All the time. That's all the time we have for tonight on our nightly calling the Trumps out. We'll see you tomorrow night. I hope everybody has a good night. Stay safe. Hopefully, we'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.